spectate this match here. We'll tell our players to go ahead. It's going to be CJ or Insanitarium as red, Hopper, and ClassicMetal as Bellafide in blue. What are we expecting from these two players right now?
Well, CJ has actually a lot of tournament experience. He played in those Strawberry Cups and in the Faction Frenzies, and he's performed very well in all of them. So he's not exactly new to the game at all. He's just new to the top 8 of Clash of Comrades. So he's got a very good chance against ClassicMetal, who has been in the top 8 many times. I think, hasn't he been in every time since he's been in the...
Pretty much. He was in July, he was in September, and now here he is in the November knockout, so...
We'll see if he can beat that 4th place. I have faith in him. I used to... I'm going to be honest here. I have a little bit of a grudge against ClassicMetal because the first time he ever played, I believe, was May Mayhem. And that was the patch where
it wasn't May Mayhem.
Squirrels were...
Was it July Joust?
Was it July Joust? Squirrels were really strong, wherever it was. And we had to watch like 50 replays of ClassicMetal just picking squirrels. But I think the meta has changed since then. I have come around to ClassicMetal's side. I've seen what kind of skills he brings to the table. No squirrels so far, though.
Not his classic squirrels.
No.
That he does like to bring. He's very versatile now.
Yeah.
Sanitarium going with the 3-2-1 with Skunk and Ferret.
Yeah, Ferret's an interesting choice. I personally don't like Ferret that much. I know they don't have a whole lot of direct damage during combat, but they can be excellent for picking off. Of course, Ferrets are artillery units, so they can fire from very long distance, about 10 damage per shot.
Okay, here we go. We're going into the first game of this best of 5 set. In Sanitarium, or CJ, to the east end of the map, in the red, and versus opponent, ClassicMetal, who is to the west end of the map, in the blue. So, looking at this map, both players have a nearby low ground natural expansion with a nearby high ground natural expansion. That's interesting.
Yeah,
what do you think of the map, Captain?
I'm really liking the fact that the whole bottom of the map is just kind of useless. There's one little path to go down there, but otherwise it's just kind of water, which means that there's going to be a lot of action during this game. There's only a couple ways that you can go. There's going to be a lot of clashes in the middle of this map, especially with 4 bases almost in a line straight across. That tower base to the north is going to be interesting, so you can claim that, because it's a very defensible position. It does have 2 tiers of high ground on it, but otherwise...
CJ,
yeah.
With both players actually, with the 5 farm into double warrens, both players going very aggressive with their tier 1 choice. CJ with the squirrels, ClassicMetal with the lizards.
Alright, and the lizards, of course, doing a little bit better versus squirrels in the early game. Of course, once game gets on longer, the squirrels scale a little better because they have some range. They can fire from behind their comrades, whereas lizards have to get in close to fire. So we'll see if ClassicMetal can use these lizards to their best extent and maybe transition into something else.
These lizards are great in these early engagements, so if CJ did commit to a push there, he would have been pretty much crushed by his lizards. So that was a good choice. He scouted it out, he saw the lizards, didn't go in. Both players are now building toads, and those toads are going to be very valuable for CJ as they counter those lizards very nicely.
And there we go. Both players losing their lives. Of course, if your commander dies, you come back alive within 7 seconds. So you lose control of your army, which can be crucial in various games, but there's no other penalty. Otherwise, here we go. Lizards coming in from the side. They're on the high ground, but they do manage to come out ahead of this, taking out every single squirrel that's there. The toad is out, though, hopping in and around the pigs. And those lizards just don't quite have enough range to hit those pigs on that low ground, unfortunately. So ClassicMetal backing off, but a victory in terms of army value.
Yeah, that was a very good fight. He took a good army value lead there, and he didn't overcommit to that push. It's very easy to just overcommit and think, oh, I won the fight, let's just get their farms. But he had toads hidden with those pigs, so that was a very good choice. He didn't overcommit. It's a shame he couldn't really pick off any pigs with that, but it worked out.
Both players with their toads now. Insanitarium going up to 6. He knows that there's lots of lizards there. ClassicMetal went ahead and did the smart thing, put down a tier 2 unit. He knew he was a little bit ahead in terms of economy. Both players, of course, at 8 farms now, but losing that early engagement puts Insanitarium a little bit behind. First skunk is about halfway done.
Yeah, he's building skunks, which are going to be very useful against these squirrels and toads. But he's also building even more lizards and toads. I have to wonder how strong these lizards are going to be against the 6 toads going out from CJ. Both players going to 6 toads. It's going to be interesting. He's going to hide on the high ground, though. This is an excellent position. Well, maybe not for the lizards, but for the skunk.
Yeah, let's go ahead and show you what Insanitarium can see. He cannot see onto that high ground, as you can see, leaving that... Ooh, lots of toad hits going down.
Ooh.
Almost all of those
Those
lizards.
are all the toads now.
Yeah, all the toads are gone now, and ClassicMetal still has his toads there, plus 2 skunks backing him up, and they're about to transition into this narrow piece of land there. Skunks going ahead through. ClassicMetal's taking that high ground, and this high ground is going to be brutal. 1 piece of skunk gas already down. You can see as the squirrels run through it, they take a lot of damage. So Insanitarium now has to be very careful about that specific area. Unfortunately, ClassicMetal not able to get that skunk gas on a pig. Of course, that pig would die as the skunk gas hangs around and does enough damage.
ClassicMetal's having a very hard time breaking into Insanitarium's base here. The base is very defensible. It's really hard to get in there, especially against Toad Army. Oh, CJ's coming around from the corner.
Here we go.
ClassicMetal's right there, though.
ClassicMetal does have a lot of units to back this up. Toads go down from both sides. The skunks are starting to do their work. 1 skunk is down, but all the units from ClassicMetal are suddenly gone. Only a few units left from Insanitarium, so a little bit equal there, and this skunk is able to patch it up there. That skunk gas definitely did a lot. Take a look at that army value. Insanitarium definitely lost more in there. Or I guess he started off low, so both players lost about the same number of worth of units. But ClassicMetal keeping his expansion there, and is pulling ahead at 10 farms to Insanitarium's 8.
So CJ has
actually,
tier 2 that he hasn't actually been using yet. He's got those ferrets and skunks, and those ferrets would be very useful in this fight.
We got machine gun nest going up first. ClassicMetal in the north to try and defend from that, but Insanitarium coming around in the south. Lots of toads nicely spread out. Look at how nice they are in the front, taking out that meat shield of lizards. And oh, that was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful placement from Insanitarium. The squirrels, unfortunately, cannot get through that thick wall of skunk fog that's there. Although he has numerical superiority, the skunks just got enough down. That skunk barely on getting away on enough health. That was a really interesting fight. We're going to have to look at that again at some point. Because those toads from Insanitarium were perfectly placed. They were kind of spread out, and then they got in the front, took down ClassicMetal's army, but then ClassicMetal had skunks. So the skunks were able to get down enough skunk fog to prevent those squirrels from going through. So great kind of stalemate fight where one player would have won it otherwise.
Yeah, CJ's toads did a great job there. The tanking plus the explosions worked really well for him, and ClassicMetal really just has to fall back on these skunks every single fight. I really think he needs to develop into something a bit different. Right now, he's on 8 farms, all in his expansion. CJ's on only 4, but he has no real units. He hasn't progressed in his army whatsoever in the last 4 or 3 minutes or so.
Yeah, and Sanitarium seems to be floundering a little bit, not able to kind of advance to the next stage here. Whereas ClassicMetal's had that leg up with those skunks and is putting down a warren of snakes now. And those snakes are just gonna do even more damage against Insanitarium. Of course, snakes have that poison. And Insanitarium does not have the pigeons to counter snakes at this time.
And ClassicMetal's going to stack up on his tier 1s as well. He's going with another warren of lizards and another warren of toads. Maybe he can tank those enemy toads a bit better now.
Skunks putting down a little bit of
skunk gas. He's just going to poke
gas.
with his skunks.
That's great. One toad going down just to the skunk gas alone, and ClassicMetal's doing a great job of keeping these skunks out of harm's way. You know, right as I say that, just barely. Both skunks go down to toads. Toads are all gone now. But look how few units Insanitarium has now to defend this, and ClassicMetal knows it. He's going to run in with his lizards. The toad's not quite as well placed this time, but it doesn't matter. There we go. ClassicMetal taking game 1. Well played.
Yeah, CJ just never managed to expand upon his base army, really. No, neither players did, but once ClassicMetal actually managed to get a few more tier 1s down, once the initial toads went down, he could just rush in there. And that fight worked really well for him.
Definitely. We'll see how both players adjust their strategies here as they go forward. Whether ClassicMetal, has this strategy that he wants to keep using. He didn't pull out the wolf that time. That would have sealed the deal even further. And Sanitarium had a great counter with those toads, but I think those skunks just really shut him down over and over again.
Yeah, I think he just needed to develop into something else. Like, those ferrets might have been useful at taking down those skunks. You could have just really anything. Like, you could have built more squirrels. That might have helped too.
Yeah, falcons would have been above the skunk gas, able to take out.
Yeah.
You didn't have falcons that game, unfortunately, but
maybe you should have considered falcons for that build. Skunks do very well against the kind of idea he was going for there.
All right, well, here we go.
Going into the second game, so we'll see how they change up their builds.
ClassicMetal, so far, same standard. Going to the units that works. In Sanitarium, though, right off the bat, going for that fox there. Given what he's seen, I don't know if that's... If ClassicMetal chooses the same build that he chose last time, that fox isn't going to do as much as I think in Sanitarium hopes it will, unless he has great micro. Because ClassicMetal's army is mostly tier 1s, and that skunk, I guess, could be taken out pretty quickly. And Sanitarium does get those pigeons out, though. So that's going to help a lot against the skunk fog. The pigeon's able to heal, keep your units alive for a little bit longer. As
and the snake poison that ClassicMetal is pondering on as well. He's going with snakes and skunks, both pretty bad, honestly, against these pigeons if the armies get big enough.
And there we go.
He's going with Badger as a tier 3. Okay, it's going to be an interesting game too.
Oh, I really hope Badger gets out. I haven't seen Badger in a match in forever.
It has been quite a while. Badger's very glorious. So going into game 2 of this best of 5 set.
All right.
In Sanitarium or CJ to the north in the red, ClassicMetal to the south in blue.
You go, a little bit of disconnect in the early there, but we're started now. About 10 seconds into this game now. And ClassicMetal with a great base, only one bridge there. Of course, you can move through water, but it does slow your units down. So ClassicMetal with a great defensible base with no expansion options. Just
that's going to be a problem.
Sanitarium.
Just nothing anywhere nearby. He's going to have to expand really far forward, and it's going to be difficult for him because it's going to take a while for his unit. If he builds units behind his warren, it's going to take a while to even travel to that second base, just because of the ridiculous bridge with the water.
Yeah, we'll see. That eastern option might be the best choice for ClassicMetal. It is defended by all except that back corner there, so it'll be harder for Sanitarium to run around and take it. But in Sanitarium has 4 easy expansions all on his side of the map. ClassicMetal is either going to have to take that eastern expansion or take that forward expansion right in the middle of the map, which is going to be hard to get to. Hard to defend.
CJ going with 7 farms into 3 warrens. He's got 3 warrens right now. All squirrels. Well, ClassicMetal has some lizards to defend. And the squirrels are going to be... they're going to struggle at attacking into the space, honestly.
Yeah, although the lizards won't be able to surround, I will give it that the squirrels might have a little bit of an advantage because they can fire over the shoulders of their comrades, and the squirrels have to kind of surround. But the squirrels, of course, can just, just like that, they can run into the water.
That wasn't a very good trade for CJ there in the midfield.
Here we go. There we go. The lizards are down now. We're about 2 minutes in. We're going to try and speed up to catch up to where the game is for real.
It's a little bit desynced, yeah.
Or maybe very desynced. There we go. Now we're at 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Is that about where you are?
That's about right. Yep, that's right.
Here we go.
So it's CJ on 9 squirrels and going to toads once again. He saw the lizards in that fight. He won it anyway. It doesn't even matter. But he now that he has that read, he's just going to build toads and pretty much shut down those lizards. As we saw from last game, it doesn't completely shut it down. It depends on how it's played, obviously. But it's going to be a very good counter, and ClassicMetal is going to struggle with that.
All right, that skunk warren just now popping out. Looks like the first skunk is about a quarter of the way done, on its way to half, and no, not go for that. There he goes. Putting down the Badger warren.
Badger.
All right, here we go. That's how you do it, ClassicMetal. 3 minutes into the game, going for that tier 3. And here comes Insanitarium across the bridge.
No.
Toads leading the way.
Bridge, all the toads at the front.
Oh no, and so many lizards going down, but ClassicMetal doing a pretty good job of keeping them okay. That skunk gas keeping the squirrels at bay. Only one lizard left, and it goes down, but there's way too much gas on that bridge for Insanitarium to push in and do anything. So, well played by both players.
Well, this is fine for ClassicMetal. As long as he can hold out long enough for this Badger to come out, that Badger's going to pretty much destroy the enemy army. Those Skunks are very good pickup, just stopping... Once the Toads are all dead, the Squirrels can't really progress on that bridge, because it's just one tile wide. They're going to get destroyed by that Skunk Gas covering all of it.
Yeah, that Badger hasn't started building yet. ClassicMetal doesn't have enough food. It's been going into other units. He needs to sell something if he wants to get...
He sold the Badger.
Oh, he did sell the Badger, okay.
He's going with Snakes instead now.
Right.
I'm not sure how that's going to work out. He's going to be trapped in the space unless he pulls out something big, and I think that Badger was exactly what he needed. And now Sanitarium's pressuring with these ferrets he's got out.
Ooh, very close to taking that Skunk out with 2 ferret shots. That Skunk Gas is going to linger around at the beginning of that bridge for a little while longer and then disappear. ClassicMetal, oh, he was so close to having that tier 3, definitely. And Insanitarium now getting a tier 3 of his own, getting that Fox out. And that's going to be perfect for this kind of match because Insanitarium can be poking from that bridge. If ClassicMetal tries to come out with those Skunks again, the Fox can take him out. If ClassicMetal gets caught on that bridge, this is perfect for that. But here we go, ClassicMetal pulling out with his units for the first time during this game.
Looking at army values, just a bit behind CJ. But looking at the tech choices, Sanitarium, I think, definitely has the advantage.
Ooh, there we go, this Toad's taking out so many lizards, and that meat shield is gone, unfortunately. The Skunk's able to get a little bit down, but so many units going down from ClassicMetal just to those Toads in the front. ClassicMetal needs to get out of there. There's nothing more he can do with these 2 units.
Oh, he's going to keep poking. ClassicMetal, he tried to bait those Toads out of position, but it didn't really work. Once there were a couple of Toads left and he tried to pull back, the Toads just exploded on those tier 2 units and did a lot of damage to ClassicMetal's army. And while CJ is expanding, he's got an expansion. Oh, ClassicMetal actually has an expansion too in the west side of the map.
Yeah, ClassicMetal on 8 farms and Sanitarium on 7 right now. Ooh, that Skunk just barely sidestepping those ferret shots there. Still dancing around those Skunks, putting down Skunk Gas all over the place. Oh, just barely.
Be careful.
Oh, it's going to go down if he's not careful. There it goes, and it does go down to that ferret shot. ClassicMetal unable to keep it alive. Look at them dancing around with this Skunk, though, in Sanitarium.
Whoa.
Unbelievable.
ClassicMetal gets a pick on the ferret.
With one Skunk, ClassicMetal is pushing Insanitarium's army back. Oh, no, but the Skunk does go down. That's too late, and Insanitarium was just waiting for that Fox. It's out now. It has a road. There it goes. It's going to start sniping units. The Lizards charging in, getting taken out by Toads once again, unfortunately, and the Snakes are left in the back trying to take out as much as they can. And Insanitarium has a great weapon now. He's got this Fox out. He can dance around. Both players on 5 farms. So Insanitarium definitely set up. Look at him across this bridge. You're going to start picking off units. And ClassicMetal doesn't really have anything to deal with this right now. He needs to get some structures out if he needs to take it out. And ClassicMetal is just trying to push in to catch it. Lizard's getting taken out one by one, unfortunately.
He's just going to lose all of his units if he does this. Now he loses the Skunks. This is really bad.
There we go, that Skunk.
ClassicMetal just has nothing to do with this, really.
And there we go, unit after unit streaming in one by one and falling. And there we go, Insanitarium. CJ gonna take game 2.
I think that was a mistake to sell that Badger, really. He needed something strong to be able to push out of his base. When you go pretty much one base play like that, you need to turtle up until you get something big and then just destroy the enemy who's been focusing on maybe like once Insanitarium goes for expansion, it actually puts him behind a little bit. But nothing really worked out like that, and ClassicMetal just couldn't break out.
So close. Good job, CJ and Sanitarium, for putting those Toads in the front this time. ClassicMetal is going to have to figure out something different to do in the next games, because those Toads are going to keep wrecking his Lizard army, and he needs those Lizards to tank for those units in the back, those tier 2s, that Skunk and that Snake that need some time to start poisoning units or to start laying down Skunk Gas. And if you lose that 10 health Lizard, you're just up a creek.
Yeah, I think ClassicMetal just needs to rethink his strategy here. These Toads are destroying him. And it looks like he's just going Lizard Toad again. And in Sanitarium, all he needs to do is tech in those toads, and he's pretty much instantly countered the enemy build.
As long as he builds them right. In Sanitarium, going for Falcons, just to add a little bit more against those skunks there. ClassicMetal going for that Fox. We'll see how the Fox does for him. If the Falcons start coming out, the Fox could do very well. Of course, Sanitarium going for his own Fox. Falcons, of course, can be one-shotted by the Fox, and the Fox has a little bit more range than the Falcons do, although the Falcons can fly. So that's why we say that the Fox can often counter those Falcons if there's a massive ball of Falcons.
ClassicMetal taking the MG nest again. I think he would have done well with Balloon here against the Toads and the Fox. That might have been a good choice to zone them out. But here we go, going into the third game of this quarterfinal set. We have CJ to the north in the red, ClassicMetal to the east in blue. And looking at this map again, there's a lot of bases to the south. Not really much to the northeast end of the map, other than one base in the center, which could be very valuable.
Yeah, this is a very interesting map in the north and east positions here in the 12 o'clock and the 3 o'clock. So both players are going to be trying to push down to expand, push down into the left, south and west, or try and fight over this base in between them. Whoever controls that base is going to have a lot of control over the north section of the map. But of course, in Sanitarium is a little bit closer to these high ground bases. ClassicMetal has bases that are a little bit closer, but on the low ground. So we'll see how this turns out, how the players decide to play this. That Fox, though.
Both players.
Yeah.
Yeah, both players just building up their economy right now, but I think if any player does get that basin right in the center, that's going to be a very big deal. Like, that just stops anyone from really going into the south end of the map. Yeah. Otherwise, they're just going to lose too much ground with their commander not being there.
Sanitarium going for 7 farms into 2 squirrel warrens. ClassicMetal going into 7 farms into 1 lizard warren. Throwing on the second one right now. See, the foxes are going to be brutal on this map. There's lots of open space and high ground to run and hide to. Of course, lizards are the only ones who are able to catch foxes in just a straight-up running match. But the fox has more range than those lizards do. And there's no roads, so you can't even use the road to your advantage to kind of speed around.
So in Sanitarium, going with the double Squirrel Warren into Toads. ClassicMetal with the double Lizard Warren into Toads. These Toads, these early Toads from CJ are going to be very good against the Lizards ClassicMetal's putting out. And ClassicMetal's going with Skunks immediately. Could be a good choice against these early tier 1s.
Yeah, Skunks aren't going to be as great on this map, I think, because the Skunks do really well in places with choke points. With so much open space, and Sanitarium could just run around that skunk gas, especially if he's got those pigeons. He can kind of dip in and out. We'll see, though, in Sanitarium push around to this northern base. We'll see if he's able to save up enough food to take it. That might be a smart decision for him.
He's building up a very big army of these squirrels and toads. Those toads are going to do a great job of tanking. If he fights in this little cliff hold choke, that would be very strong for him. There'd be no way for the lizards to get around to the back, and they'd have to fight face first into the toads. But equally, that skunk would be very good in that sort of situation, so it'd be interesting to see.
And Sanitarium slightly ahead in army value right now. Both players equal in econ. Let's see how this advances. Skunk.
CJ has the map control right now, where he can just take that windmill if he wanted to.
And there we go. Second skunk is out, and ClassicMetal going for that fox. Bold move. Fox in the corner.
Both players are doing it. Both players are doing the exact same thing.
So mirror builds from these players here. We'll see which fox is able to get out first. Of course, foxes cost 180 food right now. Need to save that up in order to buy it. Here we go. ClassicMetal buying that expansion just to the south of his base. So making the first move in terms of expansions. And in Sanitarium, I'm interested to see where Insanitarium decides to expand. Second Falcon out for Insanitarium right now, so that's going to be great to counter those skunks. Skunks, of course, can't hit Falcons at all, but if that fox gets out first, might be able to pick off those Falcons before they can do enough damage. There we go.
Built that base to the west, and now both players have their Tier 3 warrant actually up, and the Fox is building. ClassicMetal actually hasn't scouted at all, though. He has no idea that the enemy's building the Fox. Well, neither does CJ. It's going to be a surprise for both of them.
And there we go. ClassicMetal's Fox is going to come out a little bit sooner. It's about 3/4 of the way as opposed to half the way from Sanitarium. Lots and lots of toads going down. ClassicMetal losing a lot of his lizards all at once. Just doing Sanitariums. Yeah.
That was a big loss for CJ as well, though. Loses those Falcons, which have a much longer build time and a bit more expensive. I think ClassicMetal just barely came ahead in that fight, actually.
There we go. ClassicMetal's Fox
now
is
he has
out.
The Fox.
Here comes the Sanitarium's Fox, though. The Fox are going to shoot at each other. Oh, one shot down, and it goes down! ClassicMetal's Fox has died in Sanitarium, able to snipe it off. That was amazing.
That's very bad for ClassicMetal now. He loses that Fox almost instantly. And how is ClassicMetal even going to respond to this? And Sanitarium has a great army to back him up.
There we go. The Falcons are back up here. One Falcon, just barely doesn't get caught off by this machine gun turret. I think that's the only thing ClassicMetal can do right now is put up machine gun turrets. Of course, Foxes can't hit buildings anymore. So if he has enough machine gun turrets up, he's going to be able to defend.
Oh, they're not far forward enough, though. He picks off a farm and a lizard there. Oh, no. And he's just going to keep picking off units for this Fox. He needed his counter Fox.
The lizards trying to chase after this Fox here, and they are going to catch it a little bit down to about half health, but in come the toads. Toads flying from the north, taking out all of the lizards. A lot of the army running through that skunk gas there, unfortunately. There he goes, smartly going around it. And ClassicMetal trying to turtle up with these machine gun turrets here, but in Sanitarium could just run around to the north if he wanted to. That base is just undefended right now. Fox is back out for ClassicMetal.
Alright, so he has got the counter Fox now. See how this goes.
Ooh, if he can get it. There goes it!
Oh, he took it out!
ClassicMetal counter snipes, so it's Sanitarium has now lost the Fox. ClassicMetal needs to take advantage of this right now to try and get some of this map control back. Maybe sell some of those machine gun turrets now that the Fox isn't as much of a threat. But look at this army value close together right now. ClassicMetal trying to climb back up there.
If he took out that commander, that could have been a big deal. He could have started sniping off these units, but he's just going to snipe off the squirrels right now. Both players fighting in the south end of this map where their expansions are, just completely abandoning their mains, basically. They're not farming there anymore. Or when Sanitarium's pushing into the ClassicMetal now.
Ooh, machine gun has been taken down. The toads, again, wrecking havoc into ClassicMetal's lizards, but I don't know if it's going to matter. The skunks are out. They have put down so much, and the Fox is just sniping all of those Falcons down, and ClassicMetal going to take Game 3.
Well, that was quite a swing. That was ridiculous. So that Fox snipe decided the game, basically.
And the counter Fox snipe. All right. Well, the score is now 2-1 in favor of ClassicMetal. We'll see. I'm not sure. I guess in Sanitarium meant to surrender there. Losing all of his army, I guess he decided he couldn't keep going.
Yeah, he lost. Though he didn't get enough value out of those toads. ClassicMetal did a pretty good job there. Kept his lizards spread out near the front. And basically all lizards got taken out, but then he has those skunks, which do great against the remaining squirrels that tried to push in and just got completely wiped, especially with that Fox taking out even more squirrels and obviously that Falcon in the air.
Alright, here we go. ClassicMetal taking that wolf right now. It's a little bit different. We haven't seen that come out from it yet. In Sanitarium, going for the sniper balloons. And all tier 1, except for a sniper balloon and... Excuse me, and ferret.
Yeah, he's missed the lizards. But yeah, that's a lot of tier 1s here. Maybe just going to go for a very versatile early aggression build with a lot of pressure. It looks like, okay, he removes the balloon, goes for MG Nest. It was a balloon, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was a balloon, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. And there we go, going for 2 tier 3s.
2 tier 3s! This
Alrighty.
could be amazing. Please happen. Oh my god. Okay, here we go. Going into Game 4 of this quarterfinal set. In Sanitarium, or CJ to the northeast in the red, ClassicMetal to the southwest in the blue. I want ClassicMetal to do that. That would be amazing. And this is a fairly good map to do it on. Very big open spaces. And a lot of nearby expansions for Classic Metal as well.
Yeah, Classic Metal's base is very defended. He's got 3 good expansions, 1, 2, 3 around his base, and a choke point in the north if Insanitarium tries to come around in the north. Insanitarium has his own good expansion. So we'll see. Hopefully this game will go a little bit longer. Insanitarium going for 4 farms into squirrels. Classic Metal has spotted this. We'll see.
So Insanitarium is going to go with some sort of aggression. He might not do a rush, seeing as he's going for squirrels, but maybe go into a squirrel mole push. Going back to July Joust, was that? Squirrel mole push hasn't been used that much for a while, so that'll be interesting to see.
He's going to have a lot of trouble advancing. Okay, so Classic Metal does sell that machine gun turret. That would have been very difficult for Insanitarium to push up into the base. I guess Insanitarium knows it, or Insanitarium thinks that there's a machine gun turret up on that high ground, so he's not going to push in.
Yeah, that's a good play, actually. He can put down those just army Warrens now and get up his lizards and toads. And Sanitarium hasn't worked on any toads yet because he knows they wouldn't be good against the MG nest. Instead, he's just building up these moles. And if Classic Metal can get a good set of hits with his toads, oh, he's going to scout again. Oh, but he sees the MG nest is still there, so nothing's changed.
Everything's fine. Nothing has changed. There we go. Classic Metal throwing on his 8th farm just now. So Classic Metal has been ahead in economy this whole time. We'll see if he's able to take advantage of it.
Oh, there's just the fight is going to happen any second now, but CJ just pulls back. He decides to, and I think correctly, as with all that defense, he's got the MG nest, the Warren to tank. It'll be very difficult to push into that, and he's now building the toads that he probably needs against the massive amount of lizards that Classic Metal is planning on bringing.
There we go. I think Insanitarium's smart move right now is to build that expansion right next to his base and push this a little bit longer. Not into the super long game, because Classic Metal is going to have a huge advantage in terms of bases on his side of the map if this game goes that long. So Insanitarium needs to build up as much as he can and push through to overwhelm Classic Metal, which is going to be really difficult because Classic Metal has been ahead in economy for almost this entire game. We can look at this economy right here.
I think that's a good little plan there, though. If he just accelerates into the mid-game where he can play those ferrets with the pigeons to scout the high ground, and just as long as he keeps constant pressure on the outside of Classic Metal's base, stops him from expanding maybe, then he'd do a good job. Classic Metal's already expanding though, so that opportunity is pretty much completely over.
Yeah, we'll see. I guess the other option here, we're at about 3 minutes and 20 seconds into the game here. So Insanitarium could one base this whole game, forget trying to expand and just go for a really early end of early game push, spike in power. So instead of expanding, accepting the fact that he's never going to get back ahead in terms of economy and just build straight units and hope that Classic Metal goes for economy.
That could be powerful, but if you look at army value, he's just came ahead, but Classic Metal's actually been ahead almost this entire last minute or so. And he's got a lot of units, especially with these forward Warrens. These can do a good job of tanking if CJ doesn't do good enough control of his toads. And especially these skunks, fighting onto the high ground is going to be a very difficult task. The skunk's just going to lay down loads of fog while the toads are exploding.
Classic Metal again pulling ahead in economy, and Insanitarium's just going to go ahead and try and catch up here. Both players about
Classic Metal looks like he's pondering on a tier 8 maybe? Or tier 3? No, it looks like he's just going to put more farms onto the expansion, which is a good choice. It allows him to rapidly get even more units. CJ did go for the expansion, and he's got ferrets now too.
Yeah, this game should be Classic Metal's. If he plays it right, if he plays it nice and carefully and slowly, this game should belong to Classic Metal. Should be able to close this out and take this set in advance. If he makes a mistake, and Insanitarium is able to capitalize on it, like last time with the toads taking out the lizards so many times, Insanitarium could pull back, but right now it's looking very bad for Insanitarium. Classic Metal already up to 14 farms, Insanitarium only on 11. Getting those ferrets out, that's going to help a little bit to try and poke, unless Classic Metal decides just to end it and push in right now.
Metal, he's building the Badger, but he tries to take this fight in the mid-ground. I'm not sure how this is going to work for him. I think he should just pull back and play the defense. Now he's on the retreat, and that's very bad against the army that Insanitarium's fielding.
That could be the mistake that Insanitarium was hoping for. Lots of reinforcement units coming out, but they do get taken out pretty quickly. The squirrel's kind of dilly-dallying around in the gas, so dying a little bit. But that was a huge mistake, I think, by ClassicMetal. Let's look at this army value graph. Definitely Insanitarium coming ahead on top of that. I think it was just those toads, again, were perfectly placed from Insanitarium in the front, taking out all those lizards from ClassicMetal. And we'll see.
Yeah, ClassicMetal does get his entire army back, but now that he's not got the Badger plan, yet again, he's cancelled that. He's got really nothing to fall back on, and CJ can just push forward. He's going to take this entire expansion. There's nothing ClassicMetal can do. Those toads are in the front.
Oh, look at those toads.
Explosions, but look how many farms he's losing.
Oh, and there we go. ClassicMetal
does wrap around.
Yeah, wrapping around with those lizards, so escaping the toads this time, and ClassicMetal able to defend. So smart play from ClassicMetal, escaping those toads. So well placed by Insanitarium, but just not quite able to connect with the right units. One more toad going down. Cancels that.
On the offensive.
Yeah.
He's going on the offensive with these lizards with a very fast movement speed. He's just going to take advantage of the fight that he just won.
When this is a tense game, the toads aren't coming out quite fast enough. 2 farms do go down before ClassicMetal backs off a little bit. 6 farms to 8 now. They were almost even for a little bit there. Due to those 3 farms going down, but Insanitarium almost had this base. At that point, it might have been better for him to fully commit and take down the base. For ClassicMetal to lose 8 farming farms all at once might have been the game. Insanitarium had would have had some units coming to reinforce and might have been able to have the same result that they have right now, but have ClassicMetal down to just 1 or 2 farms.
And ClassicMetal's playing this Badger again, but he's struggling to save up for it, spending all his money on these tier 2s and now this extra expansion. The expansion, if he does put a lot of farms onto it, will help greatly. And Sanitarium's very crippled in terms of his economy. And he lost a couple of warrens in that last fight, maybe. So his army is down a lot as well. Yeah. He hasn't got any ferrets anymore. He's just got squirrels and toads.
ClassicMetal so far ahead in army value right now. About a quarter ahead. And
ClassicMetal does start building that Badger, I think. Or did he not? I really thought that Badger had started building. He went from 180 down to 0.
Yeah, it's like about a quarter right now.
Oh yeah, it's hard to tell because he's already white and black. Alright, so he has started building that Badger and it's about halfway. Once that comes, I think Insanitarium's just going to get completely steamrolled. He has nothing to defend really against a Badger. As long as they can get wound up, we'll see how it goes.
We'll see. Again, we're running into the later game now, and Insanitarium is going to run out of bases very soon. You can see how much farm is left on those bases by how much wheat is on there. So the less wheat it has, the less time that farm has left to farm. And there's nowhere else for Insanitarium to expand to unless he can pull around some sort of crazy map control. But ClassicMetal now has the Badger out.
Oh, yes, Badger. And he has just this midfield control that Insanitarium can't leave his base at all.
And remember, if Insanitarium loses this, Insanitarium will lose the match. Here we go. Lizards in the front, taking out 1 farm. The toads are a little bit more spread out now. Lots of toads going down. All the lizards are down now. And the Badger goes down too. The Badger gets melted by squirrels, and the squirrels are going to take out the 2 remaining skunks. Unbelievable.
From ClassicMetal. He grouped his army up massively, and those toads got massive hits and just completely decimated the army, and the squirrels just one-shot that Badger.
Unbelievable. Insanitarium needs to act now, though, because ClassicMetal has 12 farms to Insanitarium's 7. And the longer this game goes, the fewer farms Insanitarium is going to have. And he has nowhere else to expand to. He needs to go. He needs to go soon. Oh, Insanitarium. Take us to Game 5.
He's bringing those toads forward. He's pushing in.
There we go. Toad on toad action right now. The toads go down, and no toads this time to attack into the lizards, and the lizards are going to overwhelm the squirrels. And there we go. ClassicMetal taking Game 4 to take the set. Well played, ClassicMetal. Well played, CJ.
Very well played. That toad shit